I want to talk about Whoopi Goldberg because I got so many texts this week because she attacked me the week before.
Sure.
So everybody was like, oh, Bill, I get you're enjoying the karma. First of all, I'm going to talk about this at the end of my show next week, teaser. But there is no thing as karma, okay? Get over that. Whoopi attacks me on a regular basis. She says stupid on a regular basis. It just happened to coincide. But can I just say this? I had on last week Ira Glasser, former longtime head of the ACLU, talking about free speech. Whoopi Goldberg, who, by the way, I hope is still a friend, we can disagree with each other, should not be canceled or put off her show, as much as I totally disagree with her crazy statement. Free speech.
Bill Maher calls out a growing trend in media where bold, confident statements are treated as unquestionable truth, even when they sound exaggerated or ridiculous. What makes this moment hit harder is that he's not calling for Whoopi Goldberg to be taken off air. In fact, he argues the opposite. Keep her on the show, let her speak, but stop pretending that weak arguments suddenly become wise just because they're delivered with confidence. This clash goes beyond a simple TV feud. It reflects a broader shift in mainstream commentary where loud certainty and moral grandstanding dominate.
What do you think of Whoopi Goldberg saying it's worse to be a black person in America today than a woman in Iran? You know, I see we were talking about the trans issue before, and the New York Times really has come over on that to the sort of the sensible, liberal, not crazy woke position. I think this is a great first step toward getting the Democrats back to sanity, and a second good step would be we got to do something about The View. I really believe that. I mean, could you just
it's huge in Iran, though.
According to Bill Maher, this issue is bigger than one show. It's about a system that turns overheated opinions into moral authority and then acts surprised when everyday people stop buying into it. When commentary becomes one-sided and overly confident, it stops feeling like a conversation and starts feeling like a lecture. And once audiences feel that shift, they begin to disconnect.
Watching The View in Iran, all with the same head cover. You can't even tell which one is which.
My district in the great state of Texas is actually a white majority district that President Trump would have won by 25 points. As I said, I'm a direct descendant of a slave. My great-great-grandfather was born on a Rosedown plantation. I am literally being judged not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. That's the progress because, like, a lot of white people had to vote for me. A lot.
So
I don't even ever want to hear Whoopi Goldberg's conversation about how it's worse to be black in America right now. That's a bit far. And my father, who's 75 years old, he was a man that was in the French quarters that had to go get a sandwich to the back door of the building. And his son is now a United States congressman in a white majority district in Texas as a Republican. That is America. That's America.
The controversy intensified after a statement from Whoopi Goldberg that many people found hard to accept. While such comments might sound powerful within a studio environment, they often fall apart when exposed to a wider audience. Critics say this is the core problem with outrage-driven television. Everything is exaggerated for emotional impact rather than grounded in reality.
That's a Texas holiday. It began in Texas in Galveston.
right?
General Granger came and read the Order Number 3 that finally abolished slavery months after the war because the war took a time to get to Galveston. We celebrated that when I was a kid in Texas, but it becomes national a year or two ago, and Donald Trump doesn't want to celebrate that. To me, it's exactly what you're talking about. So is it 600,000 people died so that we wouldn't enslave people anymore, and the fact that freedom won is a good thing, and we should honor that. That's what Juneteenth's about. And I don't know why President Trump doesn't want to honor that.
So I don't want it. I don't want Black History Month. I don't want all these days for it to make everybody feel special. I'm an 80s baby. Everybody's too sensitive anyway. We're all Americans anyway. This holiday
That's what Morgan Freeman said.
He said, I can't agree more with him.
Yeah, he said that to Mike Wallace. He said, you know, I'm an American. Do you want to be called a...
Bill Maher pushes back on this approach by shifting focus to real-world comparisons instead of emotional framing. He argues that when you actually examine real lives, real progress, and real conditions, many of these dramatic claims don't hold up. His point isn't that problems don't exist, but that ignoring progress for the sake of a stronger narrative can come across as performative rather than honest.
People celebrate Juneteenth too, and non-Italians celebrate Columbus Day. And
I'm all for any holiday.
I'm half Irish. Do I get half the day off on St. Patrick's Day?
But a lot of
I get half drunk.
Everybody
gets drunk on St. Patrick's Day. That's a good point.
Did you have a question for the congressman there?
No, are you telling me you're black?
Yes.
You don't see color, right?
From there, Bill Maher expands the conversation beyond one comment and challenges a broader worldview. He suggests that while acknowledging history and injustice is important, turning everything into identity-based categorization creates division. When politics becomes centered on labels, it becomes harder to build a shared sense of unity.
Someone must tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging, not keep digging. Talk about doubling down on what got you in the first place. Even the one concession I've heard a few people on the losing side offer, that liberals should stop saying the Trump voters are stupid, comes with a kind of unspoken parentheses. We know they are stupid, just don't say it. Yeah.
This is where opinions begin to split. Some believe unity risks ignoring history, while others believe constant division prevents progress. Bill Maher's stance is that both can coexist. You can respect history and still focus on bringing people together without making identity the centerpiece of every discussion.
I got bad news for you. They don't have a monopoly on stupid. You wear Queers for Palestine t-shirts and masks 2 years after the pandemic ended. And you can't define woman, I mean person who menstruates. You're the teachers' union education party, and you've turned schools and colleges into a joke. You just lost a crazy contest to an actual crazy person.
As the discussion continues, the focus shifts to how exhausting this framework has become. Bill Maher argues that people are tired of conversations that feel like ideological checklists. Instead of real dialogue, discussions often feel scripted and performative, which pushes regular viewers further away.
Speak truth to power, and we always should, but you have completely lost the ability to speak truth to bullshit. The Democratic polling firm Blueprint told Democrats months ago that black voters, aka their supposedly liberal base, were more likely to find the president too liberal than too conservative. They also found that voters didn't just want Harris to distance herself from Biden, they wanted her to distance herself from what they believe the entire Democratic Party has become, a Portlandia sketch.
He then turns his attention to political strategy, arguing that attitude plays a major role in losing public support. According to Bill Maher, you can't build a strong coalition while dismissing or mocking large groups of people. When voters feel talked down to, they stop listening altogether.
But isn't it interesting that it's called, I mean, I don't think they meant this when Barbara Walters invented it a long time ago, but it's The View.
Well,
that's the problem in America.
But
there is one view,
right, and
one
that's clearly
true opinion, and everybody else can go sit in the corner.
That's correct. I think that's not actually, you're right, the name raises questions, and certainly there's been some much covered internal politics on that show, but I do think that, you know, there is space. Even that show does have space. When Whoopi said what she said, there was quick pushback from other panelists. They were like, oh, I don't know. Actually, I think that might not be right. Platforms that have stuff on them that not everyone on that platform or who consumes stuff on that platform enjoys. And The View is a particularly weird place to do a cancellation.
It's called The View?
It's called The View. It's not called The Facts.
Yeah, but isn't it interesting that it's called, I mean, I don't think they meant this when Barbara Walters invented it a long time ago, but it's The View.
Well,
that's the problem in America.
But
there is one view,
right, and
one
that's clearly
true opinion, and everybody else can go sit in the corner.